He said we're going to see if we can take a minute, but... Well, that's... Okay, you hear us now? Okay,
yep.
you want to hit live?
Good stuff.
Yeah, it'll be on the 60-second delay or whatever. No, I don't know. Pro streamers here, guys.
That's right. Hey, Batrick, keep all the Google or the corporate questions for inside the game chat, like I do.
I'll point out that the stream is on a 60-second delay. I know Nacho is new to our cast here, so we're gonna see what happens.
There you go. I like it.
And he also can't hear you because he's in the other channel.
I'm actually I'm seeing like all this chatter on the lobby, and I was like, I know Cyril is going to remind him, please don't chatter in the game itself. Oh my gosh. Can I tell them we're good? We're live. Good. Thank you, Eagle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the technical delay, but sometimes Streamlabs just doesn't want to work. But we are getting in the game now. Countdown is finishing. 3, 2, 1, go. The lobby is loading. And we are about to get off into match number 1 between Red Hat's Zip and Google Alphastars Geigeltine. So, starting on this map in the upper right corner, wearing the blue trunks for Google, it is Plain Terran Geigeltine.
SCV ready.
And in the lower left, wearing the red trunks for the Red Hat Hatlings, it is Zip. So TVZ here. Nacho, what do you think about this matchup?
I have not gone against Geigeltine in I've seen him play just maybe a couple times, he or she. I don't know if they have played it a couple times. But the what I want to talk about right now, since we're getting set up, is the map, Beckett Industries. It is such a weird map, and I've had many Red Hatters complain about this map. The only thing that I could see we have to pay attention is the diagonal accelerators across the middle for both sides, going to one base to the other.
Yeah, they are a little funky. It does reduce that travel time across the map. If you are trying to do some early aggression, do some rush, your units could get there just a little bit faster. Geigeltine taking advantage of those accelerators to get his SCV across the map, trying to get that scouting information, see exactly what his Zerg opponent is doing. Looks like a very standard opening from Zip here. Has the hatch down, pool about halfway done. Geigeltine looking to get his expansion. Just checking on the timing.
Yep. Yeah, and one of the things that with Beckett what makes it really hard is that if you're going to set up like, you drop down your third, either you have this linear this line of bases which are on the same level, or you're going to go down 1, 2, 3 to do a triangular defense with all 3 bases, and it's just so hard to do anything really defensively. So
that's right. It depends a little bit too on your race.
Yeah,
as you can see, Geigeltine up there, he's checking out that third. Wants to know that third timing. The Reaper's going to come in, trying to get an idea of what sort of tech Zip's doing. But the Lings are there. A little bit of ESPN on those Lings are going to chase down that Reaper. Reaper's going to do his best to get out of dodge, but does get to see everything before he leaves.
Yep. Yeah, and I definitely I think the Reaper had the eyes on the Roach Roaring, so as the roaches come out.
That's right. So Geigeltine should be expecting at least some units. You don't drop the Roach Horn and not use it. So is going to want to go ahead and bulk up. Now does see the roaches with the Reaper itself. We do see a bunker going down for Geigeltine up front as the first of Zip's units begin to move across the map. And again, with those accelerators, they're going to be getting there just a little bit faster than you'd expect.
Yeah, he's dropping down the second bunker. He's loading up. Yeah, and
started.
Tank's coming out. First tank out in halfway done.
Yeah, and getting that bunker down just in time. Looks like the Lings aggroed off by the Reaper. Does stop the second bunker from finishing. Does have one Ravager in that composition, so he's going to be able to drop biles on those workers, get so much splash damage, keep them from repairing. First bunker almost down, but repair action with those two mules, keeping it alive. Roach count starting to get low now. Roach is taking a lot of damage. Both bunkers down, but has really taken the wind out of this attack from Zip. Most of the Roach is dead. Tank on the high ground, ready to defend now. So Zip pushing the Terran back, gonna force him onto one base for now. We'll see how Geigeltine responds, starting to mass up a little bit. 2 tanks on the field, a handful of Marines. It looks like if he wanted to do his own damage, he could certainly counter here, but SCV blocking the third. Oh, and with the manner move to drop the NG Bay to keep Zip from taking that third is going to force Zip to go take his third in a little bit more of a forward location.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and of course the Terran walks away from the half-built Engineering Bay. So,
of course, he's going to want to have that Engineering Bay back home some point to start those upgrades. But key advantage here for the Terran is that he didn't lose that expansion. At any time, he could move that, as he's showing us right now, can go ahead and move that CC right back down to the low ground. Is going to try to establish his forward defensive line, get that new bunker built with the Marines, but just within range to trigger the Ravagers. Throws 100 minerals away there, and the Ravagers just decide to move on back. So overall, a successful push from Zip is able to force his opponent to back off a little bit, and starting to take a bit of a supply lead here now, 66 to 53. A lot of that is in drones, though. Geigeltine with the larger army count, but Zip with the massive worker advantage. It's just going to be able to punch out so many workers here very soon. So what would you like to see out of Geigeltine next, Nacho? Sort of what's the transition as a Terran? You had your natural denied. Sort of what are the next steps?
Here's my instinct, and what I would like to see from Geigeltine, all things being equal, is a push out. Because what I've done in the past is like, if I get my natural denied, and then I try to recoup and go back into the macro build, I'm just sitting resting on my laurels until my opponent attacks again. I would like to see to really counter that what Zip did, go on the offensive. We'll see what that looks like.
That's right, and I think the thing that the Terran is missing right now is he did a very good job early on of getting a lot of map vision. Knew exactly when his opponent's third timing was. Had that good scouting Reaper. But with that push from Zip, not only did it put him behind, but Zip was really able to take advantage of map control. Now, we did just see a scan on Zip's main, so Geigeltine's going to be aware of what type of tech path Zip is on. Isn't going to see the Hive, isn't going to see anything other than a Roach Warren. So looks like Zip really committing to this Roach Ravager type of composition, and just continuing to bulk up, starting to be a scary amount of units for Zip.
Yeah. I mean, Geigeltine, with that natural being denied, he's down on the worker count. That means you're going to be behind on economy.
It's catching up on workers. It looks like Zip sort of cut his workers about the time we talked about how far ahead he was. And is just continuing to bulk up further and further. We do see the drop loads up a couple of Marines, takes out an Overlord. That's short-term supply block, not going to be great, but 5 OVs already on the way for Zip. This drop may not do very much. Does have a big army prepared to move out. He knows there's no third here.
Right. I think that was a little distraction. See if we can get Zip off his game, but I don't think that's going to work.
That's right. Arguably, the third that Zip did take allows you to sort of concentrate your forces. It's a very Terran type of third, and where you can, get that big ball of units. But just so many Ravagers here.
Oh my gosh!
All those biles dropping. The bunker's not going to hold very long. The tanks are putting in some work though. Whoa! And with that bile barrage, the bunker goes down. They only lost 5 workers in that. But Zip took a big hit to his army. Those tanks in perfect position, able to shell units on the front lines without being in range of those Ravager biles. The Ravagers are going to move in now. I'm going to try to get the biles on the tanks. Not able to take one down.
And the SCVs come in for the repair. That's going to be a formidable line right there.
Right, but all the time that the SCVs are spending repairing, not mining, it is eating into his economy a little bit. So Zip still sitting on a little bit of a lead, but has to be a little disappointed with the sort of lack of success on this push. And Geigeltine floating his third out now, so that's actually going to put them on even bases. As Geigeltine continues to ramp up his economy, now almost equal footing on workers, Zip continuing to flood army. This is a turtling Terran. I don't see a very good path for Zip on the tech level that he's in to really be able to do a lot of damage.
One of the things that I'm noticing about Zip right at this moment, he is floating a lot of minerals and a lot of gas right now. And let's just see how he spends that. But that's one of the things that Zip says is that he'll get focused on the micro and forgot his economy. So see how he spends that money.
Yeah, very, very clever little move there, putting the supply depot, creating a little bit of an extra choke. Zip's unit's able to catch Geigeltine off guard. Doesn't sort of throw a lot of blows at each other, don't do a whole lot of damage, but it looks like Geigeltine is able to deflect them well enough to get that third, much better established. Zip continuing to flood more and more army units. He's losing units and just replacing them. And now for the first time, Geigeltine takes the worker lead. If you combine that worker lead with all the mules that he's able to drop now with 3 orbitals, and it might just catch Zip's army off guard here. A bunch of roaches in the middle of converting to Ravagers, but the Ravagers pop. So many biles are going to start coming down. Demolishes the tank line.
Wow.
And, the Marines are going to chase them away. Not a lot of meat in front of those Ravagers right now, but I think Zip has to be happy with resetting that tank count.
I like that. Yep. He's going to be very, very happy with that.
Meanwhile, Geigeltine himself can't feel too bad. Isn't seeing a lot out of his Zerg opponent. Is seeing Zip stay on the same tech, continuing to push that Roach Ravager, and the further we get into the game, arguably, Geigeltine has exactly what he needs to deal with it. 3-3 on the way for Geigeltine. Just got to get the tank numbers up, and he'll be able to, in large part, deal with the army that Zip continues to throw at him. Another thing to note, of course, Geigeltine dropping all those sensor towers. Sensor towers very cheap, but he can see exactly where Zip's army is right now. Able to track him up and down and get his own army in position. Those 2 tanks looks like they're not going to last as the biles come raining down. One tank goes down, but Marines now stemming in, able to take out a handful of Ravagers on them. Those 2 Marines starting to get pretty scary. Fourth base going down for Geigeltine. Really, just after Zip had such a huge economic advantage at the beginning, Geigeltine almost say is the economic powerhouse at this point. Zip just doing everything he can to keep the army counts low, and Zip army supply considerably above Geigeltine, but it's all in roaches and ravagers. Not the most efficient bang for your buck if you're just looking at supply count. Really has to build a lot of roaches and throw a lot of roaches away in order to be very effective. I'd kind of like to see Zip transition, drop a Hydra Den, get some lurkers. You see the Liberator coming out. He's probably going to try to park on that mineral line right there and see if he can't get a handful of kills. The Ling's running over. They're not going to be able to do a whole lot, but when the Ravagers get there, they might be able to deal with that Liberator.
Yep.
Meanwhile, this is why Zip's not doing anything about those workers, just trying to assault the front line again. The notable thing you're noticing about the skin here, this skin has gained a bit of notoriety on the ladder. If you'll notice, that command center looks a lot like an orbital. No, sir, it is a planetary fortress.
And I know this because I played the same one. It's the differences are very, very small. So you could easily get fooled and just run into it thinking it's an orbital, but you're going to get blasted.
Yeah. It looks like the Queens are going to be able to shut down this Liberator, but took a lot of worker hits. Zip down to 35. I don't think he's built a worker in 10 minutes. Meanwhile, just continuing to push these Roach Ravager, I think Zip has decided this is what he's doing in this game, and, you know, strategy be damned, he's going to keep going. This bio-tank ball starting to move out. A really frightening push now coming for the Terran. Is just going to start setting up, establishing map control, move in with these little teams of Marine Marauder, start picking away at that base, but it's very hard for Zip to move in on this.
Yeah, I think that +3/+3 on his bio upgrades versus just a 1/1 for Zip. Man, that's going to make all the difference, I think.
It is. 3/3 Marines, really frightening, especially with the sort of low armor composition. Ravagers, they're pretty great. They do a lot of damage, but they're a little squishy. A little bit of a glass cannon compared to the Roaches. Ling run by, massive Ling run by, coming now, is going to be able to take out this expansion for the Terran, but meanwhile, big engagement up front, just biles for days. But if you can't land them, it's a lot of DPS he's not going to be able to get. Does take out a medevac there. Marines, stem, doing a lot more damage to themselves. But 27 workers down now, 28-30. This Ling bun by is devastating. If Zip can hold at home, he is resetting the economy of Geigeltine. But Zip himself has to not die.
That's right.
The hatch getting very close to going down. More and more roaches streaming out now. Those medevacs completely out of energy. They've been healing these Marine Marauders so much. And buildings starting to lift for Geigeltine, now down 39 workers. So that bio is basically dead. But the tanks providing really strong support. Zip just stepping back as much as he can. It'll be hard to see. Ling's going completely uncontested in Geigeltine's base. Zip's going to try to swing up here and get some biles down on the tanks. Not able to get them down. Just trying to chip away, but taking huge tank shots the whole time. Meanwhile, this Liberator taking out 10, 11 workers now of Zip. Zip down to 18, 17 workers. It's about to get real thin up in here. Decides to pull the Lings home. A little bit of a mistiming there. Didn't engage with the main roach forces. Just trying to pull all the fire, and is able to clean this up. But question is, what does Zip have left?
Yeah, what cost?
Meanwhile, that strong economy from Geigeltine, I'm not sure that Zip knows about these bases. That lower right base is going to try to move in on this planetary now. Does get a handful of worker kills just from the Bile Splash, but isn't going to really be able to engage into it. Just doesn't have enough. Geigeltine continuing to bide his time. Probably feels that he has a little bit of an advantage here, just trying to turtle up. He knows he has the advantage right now. With that tower coming up, is going to know exactly where Zip's ball is, and an eagle-eyed Terran might look at that blob and say, it's not that big.
Not that bad.
It's not that bad. But notably knocks those depots down. So now starting to creep into the directly into the third of the Terran. Terran not really doing much to clean the creep up, but almost doesn't care. You do see a couple of scans going down. Does notice no base. Zip on 3 base, the Terran on 4, although the main is certainly mined out, and the natural is not long for this world. Queen on creep duty, clearly doing her job, poking away at the Liberator before it gets home, but it'll be able to be easily repaired back up. Both sides just sort of building back up. Zip back up to 28 workers, re-dropping his 4th. But Geigeltine sitting on both the worker and the army advantage. A very strong position for Geigeltine right now.
Yeah, he's in a really, really good position. He can just walk in, and there'll be very little what Zip can do about it. But let's see.
That's right. He's going to be cautious, though. There's a lot of creep on this map. He's going to start working to clean it up. Doesn't really want to engage, even if he does have the advantage. Win ahead, get more ahead. But don't make mistakes to fall behind. Because that might be what Zip needs here, is a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Is able to get a lot of biles down on that army, but and is chipping away. A pretty efficient trade, but again, the tanks have just been the MVP of this game, really. It's been so difficult for Zip to get in there and keep those tank numbers low to really engage, get the flank rounds, get the positioning. I'd argue Geigeltine hasn't always had the best map presence, map awareness, but has definitely held his positions very well. Getting on the high ground, a little bit of elevator action with these Marines. This is going to start picking away at Zip's buildings. Zip's army, so small, can't really respond to anything except this main army.
Right.
Is able to take out most of the tanks, but that's those Marines. Is 3-3 Marines, so powerful running in, able to take out most of the Ravagers. Zip is doing everything he can to stay alive, and it won't be enough.
Won't be enough.
Google takes game number 1.
Yes, sir.
Of our Week 9 match.
Yeah. For your Terrans at home, you're looking at how Geigeltine scattered his siege tanks out, didn't group them together. One was protecting the other, and that was such a hard line to break for Zip. He just couldn't break that because each of the sieges were protecting one another as the bio comes in. That's good stuff.
So we'll have a short break here as we set up game number 2. And while we wait for game number 2, we're actually joined by Zip himself. Zip, well fought game. It was definitely back and forth for a while. Would you like to give us your thoughts on from your perspective?
Yeah, of course. Things go better when you remember your build. I had a build planned, and when the game started, I just went into autopilot and did a standard opener, and then I tried to make my plan work anyway, but it hit, I don't know how long, probably 30 or 45 seconds later than it would have, so that didn't work too well. I mean, it worked okay, but I didn't really know a good follow-up from there, so you could probably see me floundering a little bit.
Yeah, the timing was, you could definitely see, you got there, he managed to get the bunker down, as well as finish the second bunker. Didn't have much behind it, was just getting the tanks out, but, you know, you have to feel a little bit good pushing the Terran back off as natural, but was able to, you know, float his CC back down. Not really the killing blow maybe that you wanted, but, you know, definitely... definitely a back and forth game.
Yeah, I had fun in the game. I wish I had put down a Baneling Nest a little sooner. That could have helped a lot. Had pretty good creep spread, but I just didn't have any way to punch through the Marine ball. And I couldn't really. He was really good at keeping his Marines like fairly far forward from the tanks, so I couldn't get the Ravagers in and land biles on the tanks.
Yeah, for the Terrans watching at home, his tank positioning was pretty expert throughout that map.
Yeah.
In his defenses at his natural, you could see his tank sitting far enough back behind the bunkers that he could get shots off. You'd force the Roach Ravager to actually move forward, because what Zip wants to do is bile down those tanks, but forces them into range of the bunkers. Same thing, just pushing out on the map, keeping the Marines out front, forcing the Zip's forces to move forward into basically into firing range. Either you're going to get pounded by the tanks or you're going to get pounded by those 3-3 Marines. Just a tough position either way.
Streamers ready? I believe we are.
Streamers ready.
So I could tell a huge difference between tank positioning against this player and the last player that I played, the last ZVT I played rather, where I think I was able to pick off 5 tanks throughout the course of the game and barely won at the end when he had 4 tanks. And I think today Galgatine was just able to just keep that tank count ramping up and up and up. And like the difference between 4 tanks and 9 tanks is enormous. And so that game went my way just barely, that last one, because of that. I think that was like the crucial factor. But this one he was just too good. Well played, Galgatine.
It sure was. But we're gonna move now into game number 2, featuring wearing the red trunks for Google. It is Yobelson. And in the lower left, sporting the purple for the Red Hatlings, it is Cephalopod.
So we got a pool first at, I think that was a 17 pool. Could have been a 16 pool. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it looks fairly standard so far, except for pool first.
Pool first, we'll see if he wants to go ahead, and he's probably going to be dropping that hatch very soon. Do you think he's concerned? Is a pool first a more normal opener in the ZVP, or is he maybe trying to get a little bit aggressive early on?
I think it's a little aggressive. It's standard to go 16 hatch first in ZVP. Every once in a while, you'll see a 15 hatch just to get it down just before the probe can arrive. If the Protoss sends one of their first 12 probes, they can block your hatch for quite a while. So if you do 15 hatch, you can actually get it down on most maps, maybe all maps, right before that first probe arrives. Not that common though. The pros don't do it, but some like lower level players do, just to avoid the hassle of that probe blocking your hatch for a long time.
If you were paying attention to cephalopods, his timing on the natural hatch just came right as the probe was walking up.
A little bit of a late scout, though. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Jagannatha is a bit of a longer map. Takes an extra minute, or not a minute, but takes a second to get across the map. That Zealot does come out in time to block the gap there between the gateway and the cyber. Is going to keep those lings from doing any sneaky damage.
Yeah, and the adept behind it is going to really seal that wall up against the lings. And looks like we are back to macro range. Drones starting to come out. Very gutsy probe trying to make its way into the natural of the Zerg, or didn't quite make it up to the ramp.
Pro with a dream.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it looks like we're gonna just macro up for a while. Protoss sealing off that front with that shield battery about to finish. It's gonna be nearly impossible to break. But Twilight Council done is gonna start the Glaive, so it looks like we are gonna go into some heavy adept play early on. Protoss may want to be a little aggressive. Despite that pool first from Cephalopod, hasn't really opted to get much yet.
Yeah, he's got melee attack coming. He's got 3 queens out, and just those lings, they're still slow. Speed is almost done, but not quite. So man, this zealot and 2 adepts might actually cause a few problems for him. The adepts get into the main.
He's going to start picking off drones. Speed finishes allows him to chase those adepts down. Has a fair number of lings on the field. Very good positioning there from Yobelson.
Yeah, for a second
into a corner where he can't get surrounded.
Yeah, and after the dust settles on there, it looks like Yobelson is about 10. Was 10. Now he's 7 workers ahead. So maybe we'll see some more drones coming out of the Zerg to catch up. Oh, we do see more gas and a layer.
Yeah, it's not clear to me, at least, what Cephalopod intends to do here. Hasn't really shown his hand tech-wise. Going to go up to layer. A couple of different options he can do. Go into, more of the Roach Hydra. Moving into those lurkers. Hydra also pretty effective against air toss, which is seemingly inevitable for anyone who isn't at top tier. But you see that Ovi must have got a peek in.
Yeah, he got a great scout. Yeah, he saw the he didn't see anything researching on the Twilight Council because Glaives is already done, but he did see the Robo Bay and 2 warp gates gateways coming down. So he may, he's seen adepts already, so he may have an inkling that some adept pressure is coming. It looks like the adepts and lings might meet right in the middle of the map, actually.
Yeah, and only lings so far from Cephalopod. A little bit maybe of an unusual
that's not a bad catch.
Counter to the adepts.
Yeah, and that +1 attack on the lings really chewed through the adepts faster than my Zerg intuitions expected them to.
Yeah, and continuing to add more adepts. So both sides maybe being a little extra stubborn, but we see the Spire coming down for Cephalopod. One thing that adepts don't do is shoot up.
Oh, this is actually very scary now. The adepts are coming in, and there's 4 lings on the map. And 13
20 in
adepts.
production, but I still, that's Lings against Adepts is not necessarily the composition that you're aiming for.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Especially clogged up on a ramp like that. Yikes.
Yeah, perfect position. It's just really good game sense. Knew the Lings would be running in and pauses those Adepts right there on the front. Leaves a couple behind to chew up those drones, just create havoc and lose the rest back to the front. Those glaives, making those Adepts do so much damage, just such a massive DPS boost. Now chewing away at what is effectively the only unit, the only building allowing him to build units. Does get enough Lings out to clean up the Adepts, but starting to take some damage on that main hatch.
I cannot confirm this, but I was checking out the Adepts of Vision. I think he might have completely missed that spire.
He did go past it. It's hard to know if he actually spotted
Well, he
it
would
in the
have
chaos.
noticed the Muta pop out there, so
That's true. Yes.
There we go. Yeah. Also a telling.
Oh wow! Sure enough, yeah.
And
must have been
interestingly
just out
enough,
of vision. That was so close.
Yeah, interestingly enough, as he goes Spire and Yolbelson had dropped his own Stargate, starting to put out Phoenix, going to make these mutas very ineffective here, sort of.
Man, we have a. Oh, it looks like Cephalopod is working on fixing his drones. He's got. There we go. He had 21 drones on a gas, probably a panic pull to keep them away from the adepts.
Well, it is an interesting move. It technically would clump up your workers a little bit easier to grab them and retransfer, but
yeah,
probably not intentional. But Cephalopod Yolbelson getting his third base down now. Even economy, not the position the Zerg wants to be in, especially when the Protoss is basically just building units to counter exactly what you're building.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal for the Zerg, but considering all the damage from those adepts, that's a pretty good position to be in after all of that dust settles.
Not dead is always a good position.
Yes.
But will have seen those Phoenixes if he was paying attention, and is going to have to figure out what he wants to do. Actually did start range weapons and dropped a second Evo. I don't believe he has the Hydroden yet, but is going to probably want to start moving in that direction.
Yeah, the mutas are going to have a hard time with all these stalkers and of course the Phoenixes, but this does open the door for Lings to be a lot better.
His Lings do have that +2 attack, so they're just going to destroy these stalkers. No blink for Yolbelson, so the stalkers are dead in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, and Yolbelson is doubling down on adepts again. Looks like he may have given up on stalkers.
Meanwhile, Cephalopod moving into roaches.
Yeah, dropping some spores, getting the roach warren. If the adept count continues to go up, then those roaches will be able to fight much better than the Lings can.
Well, that's for sure, but it won't help him deal with the Phoenix problem right now.
No.
And that Phoenix problem is being exacerbated. 18 workers now killed, just being so annoying. A lot of those Phoenixes low on energy. Not going to be able to do a whole lot more lifting, but the damage has been done.
Oh yeah, and he just recalled his Phoenixes home to clean up the mutas that were getting some work done.
May
here
have
come
seen
the
those two void
voids.
rays coming out. But Cephalopod not in a good position at all. Down on workers, down on army. Half the supply of his Protoss opponent. Never a position you want to be in as a Zerg. Or anyone for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely not. Let's see if he can pull off a clutch defense again.
I'm not sure what he has to defend with.
10 roaches are about to pop, although the voids alone would be able to handle those. Looks like we might be looking at the end of this game right now. Well played by both players.
Yeah, tough one for Cephalopod. Clear he had a game plan, and just got countered every step of the way.
Mhm.
GG. Google
GG.
takes a 2-0 lead in the series now. Keep in mind, we're in the playoffs now. This is a best of 7. No going home early. We're playing at least 4 games today.
There's some geographic negotiation going on in the channel now. We have one player, the Google player, on the west coast of the United States, and the Red Hat player being in France. So there's going to be some networking distance, some latency here. We're trying to balance that.
Yeah, until Blizzard can implement their servers down in the Earth's core and sort of equidistant that to everyone.
There we go.
We're always going to see a little bit of disparity.
All right. Looks like US East is the compromise that is the least bad for both players. Here's the lobby.
So our third map here, it looks like it's going to be Oxide between Red Hat Cyril and Turing for Google. 2-0 so far for Google. We're going to see Cyril, who has been called upon many times this season to essentially bring it home for the team. The many would be considered the ace. Of course, there might be another secret weapon buried on the Red Hat roster. Not going to give away any secrets, but is going to look to turn the tide for his team here, take a map, and get the momentum turned around. That's right. Cyril hyping it up in the lobby chat. 2-1. Let's go to game 4. Kappa. So just, as a reminder to our viewers at home, with the best of 7 format, we do have guaranteed 4 games, 4 maps that we'll be playing. Map 3 here on Oxide between Cyril and Turing. Then we'll go to map 4 on Romanticide between Nachos and P and Kill. Sure, Nachos has got an amazing build ready to go for that. And then, assuming that there are some is that the game is undecided at that point, we will go into as many ace matches as needed to resolve the best of 7. It'll be the first 4 victories. And may the best team win.
All right. Here we go. This player on... I guess we'll do introductions, but this player, Stark, is actually Turing from the Google team.
It's showing up as Turing on my screen.
Oh, yeah. It just switched on the loading screen. Maybe it's one of those friend has a different name than the battle ID versus SC2 name dichotomy. Finally, a ZVZ. My favorite.
Yeah, in the game now, starting in the lower left, wearing the blue trunks for Google, it's Turing. And in the upper right, sporting the green for Red Hat, it's the team ace, Cyril.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that beat that BattleNet Nick versus friend's name that always throws me off. I'm like, I only know this person by their nickname. I don't know their real name, so have to remember who Mike and John are, and I'm like, forget. I don't know.
Don't
That's
dox
right.
us.
Of course, the friends list always a questionable technology. There are of course situations where I have you on my friends list, but you can't add me as a friend, but I don't show up on your friends list. I'm sure Blizzard's still working on that. Maybe they'll resolve it in the next 10 years.
Feverishly, I'm sure.
Yeah. Overtime and all that. Yeah.
The the person who's the halftime person who's dedicated to Starcraft these days.
All right, I need to comment on the game here. So Turing has done a 14-14. That's 14 gas, 14 pool. He's got speed started. Looks like he has a couple of lings in production, 4 lings coming out. So we'll see if the follow-up includes Banes or an expansion. And then on Cyril's side, I didn't catch the exact timings, but he also went gas and then pool before hatch. They were just later. I think it was 16-16, if I saw that right, and then an expansion. So he may, we'll see, but he may be in a good position to defend this with his early gas and pool on his side as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Turing pulling the expert play, it got exactly 100 gas and pulled the workers out of the geyser in order to get speed. Is going to have speed basically as fast as possible. And meanwhile, Cyril is just really puts the Baneling nest down. So I think if he can keep these couple of lings from doing too much damage, he's going to be in excellent position.
Yeah, and I think he will. He's got a queen now. He's got his own lings. He was supply blocked for a while, waiting for that good old 22 Overlord. But that's out now, and it looks like he's held it off.
Yeah, the speed finished for Turing. Has a incredibly small window here, maybe to do some damage, but with the queen sitting out front, with the lings starting to pile out for Cyril, looks like he's going to be good to go. Baneling nest just about to finish, so Cyril's got to be pretty happy. Emergency spine back at home for Turing. Kind of an interesting choice, deciding to put 100 minerals into that, as well as a drone.
Yeah, maybe he's expecting a counterattack.
But some good ESPN here from Cyril, opting to go with that pool first and before hatch. Really saved his hide.
Yeah, so he's very safe now with the 3 queens out front, 4 Banes. Turing slings are just chilling in the middle of the map. Probably deciding his follow-up. Looks like he's got his own Baneling nest on the way.
It almost looks as Cyril and Turing are just kind of mirroring each other. I mean, Cyril's got his spine crawler down.
Ooh,
wow.
That was close.
Oh, my.
Those Banelings incredibly frightening for Turing right now. But does have his is actually pulling his lings all the way back home.
Yeah.
Surprised he didn't say camp out and start building a few Banelings of his own.
Well, he made. I don't know if Turing knows this, but he is 10 workers ahead at this point, having been droning behind this.
I guess an interesting consequence of this is that the early aggression from Turing caused Cyril to invest heavily in those lings. Meanwhile, Cyril now sitting on a bunch of lings, but behind on workers.
Yeah, and Turing sniffs out Cyril's third going down. He may have seen the drone with his Overlord out front. But yeah, he's going to get a cancel on this expansion. He himself does not have a third, though, so it's not the biggest problem. But yeah, that drone count is really that's the thing that's going to cause problems coming up. 40-22. I'm one to talk, though. I never build drones.
That Baneling just trying to get in there and try to do some damage to Cyril's lings, but isn't able to connect. Looks like we're just gonna have a standoff here. Both Zergs just very slowly and cautiously moving up the ladder in terms of tech. Roach Warring, the 2/3 of the way done for Turing. Meanwhile, Cyril starts his own. The layer started for Cyril, notably. So he'll be able to go ahead and keep moving up that tech tree. +1 ranged weapons also on the way for both players, as well as a third base.
Yep, and Cyril's Roach Warren's coming down at his natural as well. That means he will be a little bit behind on Roach speed. Maybe 30 to 40 seconds. Maybe 40 to 50 seconds. But if he's staying home and defending, the difference there is not quite as big.
Yeah, those 30 seconds could be the 30 seconds it takes just to cross the map. So very easy to ball up and defend. Although what's going to be hard, and what you saw earlier, is that third is starting to get pretty far away from the main. Hard for your army to cover both the natural in the main and that third. Highly subject to run-bys. And as both players go to try to decide on which base to take for their fourth, it's going to only continue to be exacerbated. I mean, what's your intuition here, Zip? Do you try to out macro your opponent, get that fourth up, try to build up the economy, or is this just a Roach arms race?
Well, given the state of the game now, I think so. Let's see, Cyril. It's easy to brainstorm when you're a caster and you can see everything that's happening. But Cyril had an Overlord at Turing's third, so he saw the big clump of roaches. He didn't. Oh, he sees them moving out as well. So he knows that there's a substantial number of roaches, and it looks like he started pumping his own roaches out. His speed is not going to be done when they arrive, but his +1 attack is. They both have +1 attack, and so he has at least a chance of holding this. He is down in roaches though at the moment, but with defender's advantage, maybe.
Is going to lose this spine. Does lose the queen. He's probably going to lose this hatch. Probably opting to bulk up. His roaches were taking a big hit. I think he sent the lings in, tried to get a little bit of a run by, but now has enough roaches.
Ooh, that was a nice move command of Turing's that allows Cyril to clean up a lot more roaches than he, by all rights, had the right to.
Well, it was a beautiful timing because Cyril engaged at exactly the same time that the hatch popped and spawned the
broodlings.
The broodlings. So Turing, as his habit, when attacking into a Zerg building, immediately moves his roaches away. Isn't going to waste time and health attacking them. And is able to catch off guard. The two Ravagers putting a lot of damage on the roaches, but roaches, they're beefy boys,
but we are down to
that's so many.
18 roaches on Turing's side, 4 for Cyril, and that's pretty hard to come back from. GG.
GG, another hard fought game in this mirror match. Unfortunately, puts Red Hat in the hole, 0-3. Nachos, it's up to you to turn this around. Team captain, we'll be rooting for you. Good luck, sir.
Yep,
Thank
go
you.
captain.
Keeping the dream alive. All right, see you guys.
See ya. All right. Going into game 4. It's going to be the biggest David versus Goliath battle yet this season.
However, notably, for the first time today, we're going to see a Red Hatling not play Zerg.
Wait, are you kidding? I thought we were all Zergs.
You would think so, based on the name, the Hatlings, with their cute little red hat logo. But alas, it seems that not everybody plays Zerg.
Good old P and Keel, aka Cheese. So this match, Nacho, the Red Hatter, has he's ranked silver 1. P and Keel, aka Cheese, he is Masters 2. So there is a substantial difference between their rankings. And yeah, that's pretty hard to overcome normally. If Nacho was somehow able to pull a victory here, I think it would be the biggest MMR discrepancy that's been overcome since I've been watching and playing in CEA, to my knowledge.
But it's certainly not impossible. The nice thing about the organized play here, anybody can win on any given day. You get a number of days to prep. Nacho has known, at least since Wednesday, who his opponent would be, what map he was going to be on. Plenty of time to prepare something special. I'm not privy to what he may or may not be pulling out here, but it'll be interesting to see. It's never a given for the higher MMR player to take the day.
Not at all. And that preparation time is really just the killer feature of CEA for kind of opening up prepared tournament play for a bunch of working professionals who normally just have time to do a little bit of ladder here and there. You get random opponents on ladder and you just kind of have to play against the entire field. But in CEA, when you can know who your opponent is for almost a week, watch as many of their replays as you can find, there's really not a limit to how much you can prepare if you have the time and inclination for it. And that, plus the format being a best of one between you and your opponent, you can really find a build that will put the wool over their eyes and take out a player who is way higher ranked.
Absolutely. And we'll see what they're able to pull off here as we start off here on Romanticide in the lower right corner, wearing the red trunks for Google. It is P and Kill. And in the upper left corner, sporting the completely overpowered skin for his command center, it's Nachos, trying to bring it back for their Hatlings, turn the momentum around.
Let's see if he can do it. We have a proxy barracks. Just an absolute classic. Absolute classic.
As was the trend for quite a while, building a base in your base. Why would you even do that when you can build a base somewhere else?
It's absurd. P and Keel's SCV's heading across the map. He's going to miss this. It looks like he's not scouting at all for proxies. He's just heading straight across.
Yeah, that third barracks has gone down for Nachos. It's going to be all Marines all the time, and it's going to be very soon. However, P and Keel going to notice immediately when there's no barracks at the ramp.
When he sees it missing, let's see what his reaction is. Reaper still coming out, Orbital still coming up. Doesn't look like a dedicated reaction just yet.
It's actually, this is a smart scout. It's going to check the corner. Sometimes you can get into the real mind games and just put your barracks in the corner, make them think it's a proxy.
But Maru did that just this week in one of his GSL games.
Exactly. So a smart move on the scout there, but pulling the boys now is ready to bring the linebackers in to support this Marine push. P and Keel getting the wall down, getting the bunker down, is prepared to defend, but this can hit really hard, really fast. So we'll see if Nacho's able to pull it off.
Yeah, so there's a bunker that's going to be finishing up. The factory's finishing up, and he's getting another Reaper. He may be banking on Master's level Reaper micro for defending this. We'll see how that goes. I'd love to see more Marines coming out of these barracks. There we go.
It looks like he has a second bunker queued up. Losing a lot of workers here. Those 3 Marines not really doing a lot of damage. The Reaper's popping out, able to, and that Hellion just annihilating everything lined up there. 7 workers down for Nachos for virtually no damage.
Yes, indeed. So let's see. Got an SCV inside the bunker just in case. Oh, Nacho putting down a bunker of his own. Those flames are just toasting those Marines, and they are all gone. Aside from the reinforcements coming in.
Really rough position here for Nacho. On cued the move up to the ramp. Loses the SCV building the bunker. Trying to punch up, but just, didn't get enough of a wind up. P and Keel takes the game 4-0 to Google.
Yeah, GG to them. They played very well as expected, being one of the top teams in the league. It was great to make it to the playoffs this time, especially with the number of teams cut down to 8. If I remember right, I think it was 12 last season. I think even in the distant past, it had been up to 16. I'm wishing them good luck for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah. Red Hat continuing to climb in the CEA ecosystem. Really proud of the boys this year for making the playoffs. And when you get to the playoffs, you're going to hit these buzz saws. Just teams that are stacked. But Red Hat continuing to improve every year, putting up a good fight against a lot of really good players today. Good fight from our captain, trying to bring it home with a little bit of fromage, but won't be enough. GG to everybody. Thanks for joining in our cast.
Yeah, I want to, before we close out, I'd love to shout out a few things about this season, since this will possibly be our last broadcast. Red Hatlings are out now, this being a single elimination bracket in the playoffs. So I want to give a huge shout out to Nacho himself, our new captain. We've gotten much farther, gone much deeper in the tournament this season. And I ascribe that mostly to me not being captain anymore. And Nacho has done a great job just organizing the team, taking care of all of the administrivia of lineup submissions, replay submissions, communicating and scheduling things with the other captains. And it's been a very smooth running team. And I think that's allowed us to really focus on preparation. And give a shout out to Cephalopod and Cyril for basically just winning a bunch of games. Nitrous as well. I think I'm right in saying that Nitrous is undefeated this season.
I believe so.
2-0, I think. So yeah, just win a couple of games and retire early, and he'll go out on top.
That's right. Red Hat secret weapon. You never know.
Absolutely. Then good old Centos and Mr. Sleep have been like solid parts of the team for a long time, and love having them all. And yeah, it's been great. So as a just as a point of comparison, we've made it to the playoffs once before, and we this was when there were 16 teams in the playoffs. So it was basically the whole field. We won our first match and then lost to, I think, Alphastars, same team that just beat us now. It was one of the Google teams. And since then, we haven't made it to the playoffs. This season has been great. Like one of the high points for me was one week when I wasn't able to play. I was watching the cast while I was taking care of my kids, and the team was playing against Amazon Painforest, who a couple of seasons ago was in the grand finals against Alexa 12 pool, Amazon versus Amazon. So they're a very, very strong team, and I got to sit at home and cheer as the guys took out Amazon Painforest, which just like in recent memory would have been completely untouchable for us. So just huge kudos to the whole team, and for continuing to push us deeper and deeper into this tournament each season.
Yeah, tons of exciting moments, absolutely, and we have done our best to capture them all here on the stream as SCTuesdays. And a couple extra shout outs, Damn Glam, who has put so much time and effort into keeping the stream running, handling the tech side, getting the graphics, all the beautiful overlays and things. Damn Glam, you got any comments for the crowd?
I think it's been an excellent season. Always getting better, so getting better at observing, and always enjoy good Starcraft, and always welcome to help the Hatlings out. And good to see everyone using the team overlays this year, so that was good to get that out to the whole CEA crew. So all people that were streaming, not just us, got to all have the cool overlays this season. So, but other than that, hopefully more Starcraft next week. Even though the Hatlings are out, there'll still be more games to watch.
Absolutely. Thank you, Damn Glam, and also thanks to Big Tosano, who's been a host and caster for many of these weeks, but who couldn't be here today. Thank you.
That's right. So wrapping up our broadcast for today and probably for the season for Red Hat. I'm Eagle Searcher, and we'll catch you next time. GG.
Thank you.